Okay, this is just a sponge. It has seen better days, but it goes through the laundry on a regular basis in the white clothes, so it gets disinfected, but it's almost crispy. So you want to take your permanent marker, draw your simple shape on there. We're going to do a car on this one. And you just got to kind of roughly draw it on there. If you're not a good drawer, use a stencil of some kind, a template of some kind, or a cookie cutter, if you can find a cookie cutter. Okay, now done like this, it is very difficult to cut this. Even with my good scissors, it's really hard to cut. So what I'm going to do is give it a spritz of water on both sides, and it'll soften this up. I don't know how this works like this, but it does. It softens it up enough to where you can cut it. Let me spritz this over the sink here. You don't want to get it so wet that it's dripping, but this does help make it easier to cut. Sometimes you might have to come from the top if the corner is too hard to turn with the scissors. I didn't really give enough time to soak in, but once you let it soak in, it cuts easier. But I have to make it more difficult because you're watching me. Now, when I say a simple shape, I have a cookie cutter that's the shape of a rocking horse. I think that would be really cute. Or a rubber duck, a little duck shape. That would be super cute on a child's gift. But even if you can't draw and you don't have a cookie cutter shape, you can cut out a triangle. And if you decorate it with enough little painted dots or embellishments like sequins or something like that, then that looks like a little decorated Christmas tree. Now the newer sponges, I have a package of them right here. That would have been super easy to cut, but that's my new sponges. I don't want to use my new sponge. I'm just using the old ones. Ones that really need to be thrown out anyway. This is the only use really you'd have for them other than like scrubbing something outside that you wouldn't dare bring inside. Once it gets wet, you can actually kind of bend it to where it will be easier to cut too. Get all those little scraggly things off of it. Okay, a rough shape of a car. So let's go do something with that. Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. My name is Tanya, and today we're not cooking, but we are doing something fun. We are making some hand-painted gift wrap, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't paint, I'm not watching this. You might want to stick around because we're not really painting, we're more like doing crafts like kids would do, and it actually turns out really, really cute. I went to a baby shower the other day, and for the life of me, I could not find any just really pretty wrapping paper. And this couple is so special to me that I thought, I don't want to buy something that just looks like random wrapping paper off the shelf. I wanted something super special. I've got a random hair sticking out like an antenna. I can see it. That's bugging me. Okay. So I decided to buy some brown craft paper, and I'll show you what that looks like. Think brown paper grocery sack. So it's what we all used to have before the plastic sacks came out, right? So think of that kind of paper, but it comes in a roll. It's relatively inexpensive considering what the cost of wrapping paper is, but we're We're going to turn that into something so cute. This had goldfish on it with bubbles coming out of their mouth, and it was so much fun. So we're going to top it off with a different kind of bow than maybe you've thought about before. So go with us as we make some hand-painted gift wrapping. Okay, I'm trying to figure out the best way to set this camera up just so you can see everything that I'm doing. I don't want you to miss something, and I don't want you to feel like you need to turn your phone or your iPad or your computer screen sideways just to see what I'm doing. So I'm trying to get this as clear as I can and still help you understand what I'm talking about. So the craft paper comes in a roll like this. Now it's pretty rigid. I'll show you a piece that I've cut out already. You can see how thick it is. It's like a grocery sack. I call it an old-timey grocery sack. But you can still get those. In fact, if you don't want to go and buy craft paper and you have those brown paper sacks, if the gift is small enough, feel free to use that as wrapping paper. So we're going to take this box. This has a gift already in it. And the easiest way to do this is to measure your box and then measure your paper. So I know just by doing this, 2 lengths of the box and 2 heights of the box. Right there, I'm going to have this much excess left over, about that much. So what I want to do is get enough paper to go from the middle of this side to the middle of that side. Now you may be thinking to yourself, I thought we were going to paint the paper. We're going to paint it after we get it cut out because you don't want to waste any. It's a matter of wasting paper, but we have to tape this paper to the countertop to be able to paint it, because as you can see, it's going to roll up no matter what. So let's get our paper measured out. I'm hoping that you can see this. So I want it to go at least halfway up and a little more this side, and at least halfway up and a little more on this side. So we'll go at that amount. And we're going to take and line it up on this side right here to where it's completely even, and make a crease in the paper. When this stuff creases, it stays. Pressing it down with the handle of my scissors. This roll has about, let me see, 75 square feet on it. I looked up the price on my app a while ago, and it was $5.68. Now they have some out in like your seasonal area, normally out near the garden center at your big box store. And that has about 50 square feet for a little over $5. So I went into the stationery section of the store and got this. Better bargain. All right, we're going to cut this on our crease. Put this box here so it doesn't pop back up. Okay, so we have our paper ready. And what we want to do now is take this down. Let me get my stuff together and we'll come right back. Okay, I've cut my pieces of masking tape. Put them down here. I have 3 different pieces of paper cut out for wrapping 3 different gifts. So you want to take your tape and just tape the corner down. Masking tape works great on this paper because it doesn't tear it once you decide to move it, or remove it, I should say. Or move it. If you move it, you have to remove it. Okay, smaller piece, and you probably want to tape it down where the curl is downward like that. But I don't really guess it matters if your tape is strong enough. So what we want to do is get paint, and I think I'm going to do, let's see, I'll go ahead and do the blue first. I had these little trays. If I buy food and it comes with a tray on it, I'm keeping it. I think these had organic bell peppers in them, so they're pretty handy because they're just easy to rinse off. So remember a while ago I talked about spraying the sponge with a little bit of water to be able to cut it. We also want it to be soft enough where you can press down as you're printing something, so you need it to be just a tiny bit damp. This is the one I'm going to use for the race car. And I have on my apron just because I know how I can splatter paint. I can make a big mess. And I normally wind up putting my fingers in it too, so I want to make sure this sponge is wet all over. If you have freezer paper, you can also use freezer paper. There's a shiny side and there's a dull side, and you can print on the dull side, which is pretty handy. You might have it in your pantry, but the advantage to the craft paper is that it is much wider. So if you have a very large gift, you have to use the craft paper. All right, so we're going to take our sponge just like this and make sure all the surface of it has paint on it. And you can figure out your own way to hold it, but mine is to just grab whatever's sticking up. See? Just like that. And we're going to just randomly place these around, pressing gently on all the surfaces of it. If you want to line them up like they're going in a road, you can do that. Oops, I got that wet because I had wet on my hands, I guess. Dip it in there as much as you need to. And these are just acrylic craft paints that you get at most stores, big box store or Hobby Lobby, someplace like that. Okay, so we have our cars painted on there. I don't have my hands too dirty, so let's go ahead and do our goldfish. I want to do that at least on one package to show you what that looks like, because they were so fun to do the other day. Try to have a picture of the package that I did the other day. The ribbon on it was a little bit sparkly, so it was just so cute. Plus I had two different gifts, so I had a bigger box, and then with pretty tacky tape, I taped the top package to the bottom package. So both in the same kind of paper, but with the bow on top. It just looks so fun. All right, we're gonna do the one over here in the goldfish. So with this color, when you get it all over your hands, it just looks like you've been eating Cheetos. All right, so again, randomly placing your sponge down. You don't have to press it too hard if it has enough paint on it, but just have the fish go in all different directions. Now there's obviously a top and a bottom to this fish. His fin is on the top side, and there's no fin on the bottom. And the more fish you put on, the funner it is. Trust me on that one. The next thing I want to do is put some, I don't know if I need to put the blue paint in a tray or I think I might be able to just dip it in the lid. I'm not sure. Okay, so here's what we're gonna make some of our bubbles with. This is just a lip balm, and this part right here that just has, see, this part is flat. This part is just a circle on the outside. So if you dip it in paint and press it on the paper, it's just going to be a circle, not filled in. So we're going to come over here and we're gonna do bubbles coming out of the fish's mouth. So I'm gonna dip it in here and make sure you're doing it toward the top of the fish. Do 2 little bubbles above each fish where it looks like it's coming out his mouth. All right, this is the top of the fish. So we have the bubbles coming this way. Okay, now we're going to get something that makes a bigger circle. I don't know if I'll need that or not. I'm not sure that this can go down in here. Not easily. I'll pour a little bit in our tray here. This is the cap off of, I don't know, probably a water bottle maybe. Looks like a water bottle cap. So all we want to do is get paint on the edge of it. I'll probably get it all over my hands, but that's okay too. See, we have it just on the edge. So what this is going to be is the big bubble at the top. So wherever we have 2 small bubbles, we need a big bubble at the top of it. And it doesn't have to be perfectly round on there. If it's got a spot missing, that's okay. Okay, I think all the fish have bubbles on them. The next thing I want to do is with the white paint, which I think I still have some in this. Yeah, I think it's dried up. Some white paint. This is just a little bit thicker. That's why I like using this. Just any acrylic paint is going to work. Really and truly it will. And you don't need a lot. So this is my little tray of goodies here. This is what I like to use for different diameters in circles. So I have these 3 things. I have everything from toothpicks to, this is probably some kind of floral stem that I make little tiny circles with. That's some kind of craft tool that I make 2 different size dots with. But as you can see, we have small, medium, and large, just a little bit larger than the medium one. And we're going to put eyes on the fish. Now you need to make sure that this is dry for the most part, but I'm hoping it's dry enough to where this will set in. If it's not all the way dry, you're going to touch it with the paint, pull your tool back up, and it won't have anything on there. But we'll see. Yep, it's fine. Sometimes you just have to roll it around. Instead of just pressing down and then coming back up, you're going to kind of go like this to get all the paint on there. Okay. Every fish has an eye. Okay, we're going to let that dry a bit. I'm going to cut out another sponge, and I want to show you how to do something else with this other piece of paper. Okay, I may as well show you what I'm doing while I'm doing it. I got this sponge nice and wet. Okay, just a triangle. See? That's all it is. Just a triangle. Okay, let me get my green paint. Okay, another tray. I'm going to cover this up. If you do this with your acrylic paints and just keep the air from getting to it as much, they won't dry out as quickly. All right, let's focus on this piece. And again, just a triangle. Okay, if you didn't get enough paint on there, you can come back and press that down. See, that's easy. Tell me that's not easy. All right, let me check and see. That's not dry yet. Let's go over and work on our race cars over here. I don't normally do 3 different pictures of things at the same time. I usually do one and do several of them. So the other night I had my 2 pieces of gift wrap out doing the goldfish, and that was fine. But when you have more than one color, it kind of gets sketchy as far as not getting your fingers in something. All right. We're going to use the same dowel rod that I just cleaned off a minute ago. And we're going to put some centers in the tires. All right, so with our Christmas trees, I think what I want to do here, let me back this up just a bit. I think what I want to do here is just, we'll use some of the colors that we have in here. And I will use this. This is just a pencil that I can't remember what kind of pencil this is, that I haven't sharpened. So we'll go ahead and use this and just put random dots on there that resemble ornaments. Again, if it's wet, it's not going to make a good shape on there, so not all mine are doing great. If you feel the need to pull out a paintbrush, if you have paintbrushes, if you're inclined to paint, and I am too, but this is just one of those things, I just want to use things to stamp. But if you're so inclined to paint, by all means, pull out a paintbrush and embellish your heart away. Or I should say, till your heart's content. Okay, we have some started on there. I have to wait till everything dries in between, so it takes a little longer. I'm gonna have to wait on things. Now, if it's just me working on a project, if I'm commissioned to do something, I have that hair dryer out. I am drying it with a hair dryer, a fan, something. I don't want to waste time just sitting here, again, watching paint dry. All right, I think those might be dry enough to use some black on. Let me position. Too many times I don't use trays, I don't use palettes, I just pour paint into the lid, or use paint straight out of the lid, not necessarily pour it in there, but just once I shake it up, I know it has paint in it, and I just use it straight out of the lid. All right, we're gonna put a black dot on there next. Oh, this one's the one that isn't very thick. I think I do need to pour this out into something. Now you'll have, because the white, the dowel that I put the white on was a little bit larger than this one that I had the black on, that means you're gonna have a little white ring around it, which is like your eyes are. You have the whites of your eyes, and then you have the colored part of your eyes. So you can have your fish looking up or down a certain direction if you want to. This is one of those do as I say and not as I do, because this isn't really dry enough to paint the next coat on, but I'm doing it anyway just for time's sake. I have other things to do. And I just gotta say too, I don't think there's any happier and more celebratory colors than orange and turquoise together. That's why I actually did the goldfish the other day on that gift, because I thought, oh my goodness, I could go with a pink or a blue, but come on people. Orange and turquoise has to be the funnest color combination out there. I'm just saying, just my opinion. All right, we're gonna let those dry. Now we'll put another color on our tree over here. I'm not really crazy about doing orange. Let me go grab another color and we'll see what else we want to put on our Christmas trees. Okay, we are going with a Diva Pink and a Yellow Flame. And you can even use different color dowels if you'd rather do that. You don't have to use the same one, because when you put ornaments on a tree, they're not all the same size, always. I think I'll go with the one that we just used for black with the yellow. This works best if your paints are dry. That one's not very dry. I think with the pink one, I'm gonna go with the tiny dowel. That's pretty hot pink right there. Since it's small, that means I can use more as far as number of dots on each tree. All right, now we have a brown, and I'm going to go back with this larger dowel. Put it at the base of each tree. It'll look like a little tree trunk. Okay. I can't really take that down because it's hooked up to everything else, but I want you to be able to see this a little bit closer. All right, hopefully that was clear enough. All right, let's go back and work on the goldfish just a little bit. We need what's called a catch light in their eyes. And all it is just pretty much where the light shines in your eyes. I used to be a retouch artist in a portrait studio. We lived in a different state, and the idea was everybody needs one catch light in their eye, not more than one, just one. So if you've had your portraits professionally retouched, they had one catch light in their eye. So catch light is just going to be one little dot in each eye. Wait a minute, wrong end. I have a flat end and a not flat end. So it doesn't matter where you put this, as long as it has one. Well, it matters where you put it on the eye. You have to put it on the black part because it's supposed to be like a shine. I'm going to give you a better look at all three of these at the end of the video. By that time, they'll be on the packages and you can see them better. Okay, I'm still trying to ponder if I need anything else on the little cars over there. But I think for right now, I'm gonna let these dry and then I'll just assess later. So we'll come back and we'll use these to wrap the packages, and I'll show you what kind of bow I'm talking about putting on these. So inexpensive. You may have some laying around your house, and if not, nearly all the stores carry it in a multitude of colors, and I'll show you what that is. Okay, I didn't want to leave you out of it. I came up with an idea. I'm gonna put dots on there in the color of traffic lights. So I went ahead and put yellow on there, and I put green on there, and this is bright red. And I'm just using my pencil that hasn't been sharpened. Okay. So the cars are done. Oops. You can see what they look like. All right, this time I'm really gonna let these dry and then we'll be back. All right, here's the finished product as far as just the paper. All right, now let's put these on some boxes. All right, we're gonna take our tape off the corners. I have 2 books and 1 box to wrap, so. And books aren't too difficult to wrap. So everything on here is dry. And this paper is, again, pretty rigid. All right, this is our first product we're gonna wrap. And we have it made to wrap this way. Give us a helpful hint is to try to crease these sides like this. So what I've done here with my finger is crease this edge right here, and even go along and crease this too. Otherwise it doesn't lay down as flat as what it could. Not necessarily doing a tutorial on how to wrap a package. I just want to show you the final product, and this is how to get to it. I just need to stress, crease it at every side. Okay, this is our package, but that's not all. This is what we're using for ribbon. This is called tulle. You spell it T-U-L-L-E. You can call it netting, but this is not truly netting. Netting is a bigger weave, almost like a fishing net or something. So the lady gave me, or cut me, a yard of each of these colors that I wanted. And I'm just gonna cut it in strips. So I need to figure out where the edge is. Okay, there's the edge. Just need to figure out which direction to cut this in. I don't want to use the whole yard, obviously, but I'll show you how to cut it a little bit neater. This is the fold of it right along this edge. So I'm doubling it and then doubling it again. And I only need about this much width. So I'm going to cut this with my scissors. And we still have this much left to do more ribbons with. So that's the center of it right there. And you could do it either way, but I'm going to do it this way. Don't tie it too tight. You want it to still be loose enough to where this will stay wide. I'm just going to tie a bow. You can tie another bow if you need to. Pull these out to give them some fullness. In other words, don't leave them all scrunched up. Pull each one as wide as it'll go. And there is our cute little goldfish package. How fun is that? All right, I'm gonna get these other wrapped and I'll show you just a short video clip of what they look like in the final product, but you don't necessarily wanna watch me wrapping presents. But thanks for joining us. And if you have any questions, leave those in the comments. I'll be happy to answer those as soon as I see your question. And we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Still got this hair sticking out right there like an antenna. Okay, have fun wrapping some gifts. Bye, guys.